Today we are looking at my signature palette, and basically a signature palette is just the colors that you feel would complete a set of watercolors. This one I chose 18 colors, and the reason for that is because the palettes that I teach from hold 18 different colors. So these aren't necessarily my very favorite colors, but they are the colors that I feel like you need to complete an entire palette so that you can paint pretty much anything that you want to paint. And that's portraits or landscapes or still lifes or anything that you, animals, anything you want to paint. So the first color, and a lot of these are colors I cannot live without. So the first color is Naples Yellow, and this is by Sennelier. I use this all the time, especially for skin tones, for landscapes, for everything. And basically it is my go-to light yellow. I like it better than lemon yellow. It's just one of the colors that I feel like I could not live without. This is Ultramarine Violet. It's a beautiful granulating color. And again, it's one of those colors that I can't live without. It's wonderful for shadows, for making neutrals. You can combine these two and make beautiful neutrals, gorgeous grays. That one's by Da Vinci. Core makes a nice one as well. Da Vinci seems to granulate a little bit more, so I prefer that. But Core's is just fine too. Most ultramarine violets are about the same. This is Nickel Azo. This is a very acidy yellow, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful mixing color. You'll find this color in, it's PY150. You'll find it in so many different mixes. So it's a very versatile yellow, nice mid-range yellow. The next one that I seem to use all the time, and I just absolutely love it, is Leaf Green by Da Vinci. You can also use Phthalo Green Light, which is pretty much the same pigment. But I love how this green glows, especially for landscapes. This is a new color to me. It's called Artemis. And it's just a lovely granulating gray. It's kind of a gray violet. I use this instead of Moonglow. Moonglow just dries too flat for me, but I really like this Artemis. It separates into a lot of different colors. So it's a very nice neutral. One of my go-to colors that is on every palette that I make is Blue Indigo by Sennelier. I use this in place of Prussian Blue, because Prussian Blue is supposedly fugitive. This is for dark backgrounds, and for mixing, I use this color for everything. It's probably my most used pigment right there. Indanthrone Blue, this is Indanthrone by Daniel Smith, but any Indanthrone or Indanthrone Blue, which is PB60, it's just a nice violety blue that's very dark, and it comes in handy for mixing, especially for making darks. It's just a very nice dark blue. So we've got a cool dark and a warm dark, which is important. You have to think of color temperature. Another color that has to be on every palette of mine is Cerulean Blue Chromium. This one is by Daniel Smith. Core makes a very close mixture that looks very similar to this. It's called French Cerulean, I believe. I also have that one. But I always go to this one because I like the granulation. This is a color I make myself called Murray Violet. It's basically ultramarine blue, deep by Sennelier, and PR 122, which is quinacridone magenta. And you can take this all the way from a warm to a cool violet, just based on how much pigment you use on each one. That's the first 9. Next one up is another one of my favorite colors. This is lavender. I paint a lot of botanicals, so I need these soft, somewhat opaque colors. Lavender and the Naples yellow makes an absolute beautiful, beautiful combination of neutrals. It's very soft color. That's Daniel Smith, but Holbein makes one that is just virtually equivalent. Next color is my cool red, which is quinacridone rose. This one is by M. Graham. I've always used their quinacridone rose. It holds its saturation beautifully, so that's just very nice. Plus, I love the colors that have the honey in them. The next one is another staple, and that's quinacridone magenta. Now, a lot of your signature colors are going to depend on what kind of subject matter you paint. If you paint buildings or landscapes or animals or still lifes or botanicals, it's going to determine your palette. Here's my warm red, just absolutely beautiful. I love Sennelier paints. I use a lot of them. I started teaching with Sennelier many years ago. They are one of my favorite brands of paint. Really like Sennelier paints. And that's just gorgeous right there. This is my favorite earth red. I use burnt sienna, but I find myself using this color much more. This is called light red by Holbein. And basically it granulates much more, even more than burnt sienna. So you end up with these gorgeous mixtures that are beautiful granulating colors. Gorgeous with any blue. This is another color I can't live without. It's called Gold Ochre by Winsor Newton. I think it's the only Winsor Newton on this particular palette. But this is what I use in place of yellow ochre. I don't like yellow ochre because of its opacity, but this is a transparent, beautiful color. Just gorgeous. And you can use that in place of quinacridone gold as well. And it's a PY43, I believe. And you can use it, I use it for my skin tone palette. Next color I cannot live without, and I've tried to live without it, but I can't, is raw sienna. It's very close to the gold ochre, but it's much more earthy, and it's just one of those colors that I have to have on my palette. I use it all the time. That raw sienna is by Da Vinci. The next color is by Da Vinci, and it's basically my turquoise. Any turquoise will do. I just particularly like this one. This is a phthalo turquoise. So it's very pigmented. It's beautiful in mixtures. It's just lovely. Very versatile color. But any turquoise would do in place of that. And the last one that I cannot live without is cobalt blue. And the cobalt blue that I've used for years is by Da Vinci, and it's Cobalt Blue Deep. I love cobalt colors. They mix beautifully, they granulate, they're just gorgeous. Just don't let your animals drink the water from your cleaning your brushes. There you have it, 18 colors that I cannot live without. Naples yellow, ultramarine violet, nickel azo yellow, leaf green, Artemis, blue indigo, indanthrone blue, cerulean blue chromium, Murray violet, lavender, quin rose, quin magenta, French vermilion, light red, gold ochre, raw sienna, sea glass, and cobalt blue deep. And that is my current signature palette for 2024. As many of you know, your palettes change frequently, but right now this is my favorite palette. So there you have it. I hope you found this helpful.